What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 2 of Black Ops 6 in Warzone. Thankfully, after a couple updates, the long-range meta changed, and so did the close-range meta. The XM4 is gone, now the Jackal's also gone. And so, you might be left wondering what to use. Well, I have the top 5 best close-range options for you. Of course, we're going to do the usual, go through all the loadouts. Everything's 8 attachments, and then on the last loadout, like we did in the long-range video, which I'll link down below, we'll talk about which attachments to remove if you're just looking for 5 attachment loadouts, you want to run overkill, whatever. And then we'll jump over to true game data to look at the data and all that. And of course, if you ever want to see me try out weapons live, you have suggestions, you want to see anything live, my Twitch is linked down below, as well as all my social medias if you want to check those out. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. In the comments down low, let me know what you think of my loadouts, my rankings, where I'm right, wrong, smart, or dumb. But without further ado, let's get into the loadouts. Alright, so starting at number 5, we have the brand new PPSH. The time to kill's really competitive, but the muzzle flash is terrible. Now, they fixed it, so it's a lot better, but it's still bad. It's bad on a lot of these SMGs. But the worst part is the fire rate feels uncomfortable because it's just so fast, and the recoil is a little bit uncomfortable as well. If they fixed the recoil and just it felt more consistent, it would maybe be number 1 on this list because the TTK is so good, but it's just got too many issues, so it's slotted down at number 5. We have the Kepler Microflex, or whatever you want for your optic, or if you like iron sights, go ahead, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it with the PPSH. You can run the suppressor if you'd like. I think you really need the recoil control, and so save the suppressor for ranked if you want. Compensator, we know, helps the most with vertical recoil control. The ported compensator helps, but it doesn't help as much, so we go with the compensator. Here I have the reinforced barrel because we're going damage range, bullet velocity. Once again, just like the long range loadouts, I would consider the long barrel. For damage range, it is important. It is important, especially for SMGs, to have good damage range. But I like to help bullet velocity and damage range both. And so if you want a little more damage range, go long barrel. Otherwise, I'd say reinforced barrel. You can go gain twist and get that bullet velocity, but you just have to lead shots less when you have more bullet velocity. And so I like the damage range. Help you in gunfights where you might get caught and having less damage at a certain range when you're kind of in intermediary area in your damage range. Then for underbarrel, with a lot of recoil, consider the vertical foregrip. You could switch to that, help the recoil out a lot. If the recoil is not too much, go to the Ranger foregrip, which you'll see across these loadouts, because you get the extra sprint moving speed. And I always mention, don't rotate with your long range. You should be rotating really with your knife out, but if you don't have your knife out for whatever reason, it should be the close range. Plus, the sprint move speed's better for pushing people. And because I'm on control and I have aim assist, I would rather have a little less recoil control, a little more movement speed. But you can go vertical foregrip if you need a little more recoil control. Then we have Extended Mag 2. That's 55 rounds. If you're playing solos or duos, go to 45. But with the, solos, you could probably even go down to the Flip Mag 1 and get better reload quickness, or the Fast Mag 1, get better reload quickness, more aim down sight speed, more sprint to fire speed. In fact, they're the same mag size. Don't do the Flip Mag. But if you're trying this in trios or quads, with this fast fire rate, you definitely need Extended Mag. Now, I think it should be like 72 rounds like it was in Vanguard and Warzone 1, but 55 is what we got. Then we have Balanced Stock. There's a lot of stocks on the PPSH. If you notice there's no rear grip, there's just a million stocks instead. We go Balanced Stock here. It helps with the hip fire movement speed, and this thing's pretty good at hip fire. Strafing movement speed, which is good when you're in fights. You're trying to strafe, break their aim assist, whatever. Sprint move speed. Sprint to fire speed's good in SMG because you're going to be pushing people, and then movement speed, of course. You can go light stock here, and you don't get the sprint movement speed, sprint to fire speed, but you get more movement speed, more hip fire speed, more strafing movement speed. So choose between the two. Do you want to help sprint to fire speed? Go Balanced Stock. If not, go light stock. Ergonomics, slide to fire, dive to fire, aim, walking, movement speed. No. Agility stock is ADS, aim, walking speed. ADS good, aim, walking speed. Don't be that guy. Combat stock, dive and slide to fire. Who cares? Sprint to fire, man. Quick draw stock, aim down sight speed helps a lot. Clearly better than the agility stock. Just go pure aim down sight, but nah. Infiltrator stock, aim walking move speed. Once again, don't be the guy aim walking around. So it leaves with Balanced Stock versus light stock. You could go quick draw. Combat maybe sliding into a building, but really balanced or light stock is the way to go. And then you can put a laser on here because there's only 8 total attachments, no rear grip. If you're going to do a laser, I'd probably do steady aim because this thing's pretty decent at hip fire. Everything else, they're like movement related hip fire, attack stance, hip fire to ADS accuracy is considerable. So when you're pushing a building, ADS, it's more where you, that whole accuracy thing's dumb. It should just always be right where you're aiming. And then target laser is not really good for up close. So if you wanted to do a laser, go steady lame or steady aim or go Strelick. But I don't like laser. Gives you away a little bit. And then recoil springs. If you're fine with the recoil, go with overpressured. You could also go to the vertical grip instead of the Ranger 4 grip, and then go from recoil to bullet velocity to help balance out some of that recoil control, but go with recoil springs on this. You'll see there's not a lot of recoil springs throughout these loadouts, but this gun definitely needs it. Then moving on from the PPSH at SMG4, we have the PP919, which did get nerfed with Season 2 coming, but it's still decent. It's really, really easy to use, like no recoil. 50-round mag is the fast mag. If you just remove that mag, it's still 64 by default. But fast mag helps the aim down sight, sprint to fire, and reload quickness. I run the fast mag 1. If you're going into solos and duos, fast mag 2 and fast mag 3 are definitely decent options. You shouldn't need the extended mag. But for trios, quads, which what most people play, go with the fast mag 1. Like I said, smaller squad sizes go down to either. And then go commando grip for the aim down sight and sprint to fire. You can of course go quick draw or assault if you like sprint to fire or ADS more, but I like helping both, so I go commando. Then we have the balance stock here, and so the conversation is a little bit different than on PPSH. We have balance stock, which we've explained, and then we have no stock, which is the equivalent to the light stock or whatever it was on the PPSH. So decide between balance stock, no stock, depending on what you like. We've had that conversation. Then we end the laser debate again. Once again, Strelick or steady aim laser. And here we have overpressured instead of recoil springs because the recoil is so minimal. So I go with overpressured there. Then we have SMG3 is the compact. Now the compact I think functions better in solos or duos because it suffers from the fast fire rate problem of the PPSH. So you do burn through ammo, but it does have a 60-round mag. And it's got, I think it's the best or the second best time to kill. We'll see it when we go true game data. That and the compact and the PPSH are pretty close. But the recoil is way better. The muzzle flash isn't as bad. And so the problems that the PPSH suffers from, the compact kind of fixes with a very similar TTK. And so that's why it's higher than the PPSH. If the PPSH didn't have those problems, it would probably go PP919 compact PPSH. Or even, PPSH. The compact of the PPSH might even be ahead of the top two if the fast fire rate wasn't such an issue and the PPSH didn't have its other problems. We're going Kepler Microflex or your choice again. Compensator, reinforced or long barrel, Ranger 4 grip. Extended mag 3 has 60 rounds. Now, if you're in smaller squads, solos, duos, extended mag 2 has 50. Extended mag 1 has 40. Those would be okay. And even the fast mag 1 with 25, if you hit most of your shots, works as well. I play trios or quads. I would recommend the 60-round mag for sure. Help you try to take down that whole squad. Then we have the Commando 4 grip. You could go assault or quick draw, but once again, I like helping ADS and sprint to fire more. Then same conversation, balance stock versus no stock. It's still crazy to me that the no stock has no penalties. So really it comes down to, do you want to help all types of movement, or do you just want to help movement and strafing and hip fire, which helps you more in fights overall? That's kind of a decision that you have to make for yourself. I do like helping everything, but I think no stock has a lot of value as well. No laser on this one, because this one does have 9 available attachments. And so I actually want this to be overpressured because the compact's recoil is not too bad. But once again, recoil control, if you need more recoil help, go with recoil springs. Otherwise, go with overpressured for that bullet velocity. And then we move on to SMG number 2, which is going to be the KSV. Now, the KSV does not have a super stellar TTK, but it's got really good range, so it's like a good sniper support. And it's super easy to use. The Gulag one is terrible because there's no compensator, no barrel, and there's iron sights, so you just really can't see anything in that dark Gulag. But it's so easy to use when you have your loadout that it had to be high on this list. Number 1 and 2 on this list have a lot to do with ease of use. This one also benefits from damage range and low recoil. But once again, we have Kepler Microflex, Compensator, Reinforced or Long Barrel, Ranger 4 grip, Extended Mag 2 here. There is no Extended Mag 3. Go Extended Mag 1 if you're in smaller squad size, got 40. I like having the 50 rounds personally. 40 also kind of works in trios and quads if you're close to your teammates, but if you're being aggressive and kind of by yourself or fully by yourself, you're going to want the Extended Mag 2 on most of these guns. Commando grip, you can go assault or quick draw if that's your preference as well. Balance stock, once again, we have the conversation between balance or no stock. Choose one of the two, whichever one feels better for you. Nothing for the laser, of course. And then, once again, I don't know why it's on recoil springs. I want overpressured for easy to use guns. Recoil springs if you need a little more recoil help. And then overpressured if you just want that more bullet velocity and the recoil is not too bad. So finally, number 1, it's the C9, aka the MP5. Something that if you went back and watched my prediction video, I was like, the C9 will be meta at some point because every MP5 ever in Warzone, I mean, this is only the third one, fourth one has they always end up meta. The MP5 at some point will always be meta. So every Warzone, every new MP5 we get just expected to be meta at some point, and it finally is in Season 2. And once again, we have the Kepler, Microflex, the Compensator, the Reinforced or the Long Barrel, the Ranger foregrip, Extended Mag 2, which has 50 on it. There is Extended Mag 1, which has 40. You can go to that. It helps. You don't get as much ADS and reload quickness penalties. You don't get the sprint to fire penalty. But the 10 extra rounds does certainly help when you're in trios or quads. And then we have Flip Mag, Fast Mag. Avoid those unless you're playing solos, not even in duos. Commando Grip or Assault or Quick Draw, whatever your preference is. Balanced Stock or no stock again. And then we have Overpressured. Now, if you're taking these down to 5 attachments, similar to long range, we want the optic. Now, close range, you can remove the optic. It's not my preference, especially because muzzle flash is kind of bad. But you definitely want Compensator, Reinforced Barrel, Ranger foregrip, and Mag. So that's 4. Now, you either want to keep, in my opinion, the optic, which I would choose to keep, or you can keep the stock. I wouldn't keep the grip because sprint to fire and ADS are kind of the specialties of close range options. So you can remove the grip, remove overpressure because that's just bullet velocity. And so now here's your options. If you want an optic, remove the stock. If you like the benefits of getting extra movement, you can put the stock back on, remove the Kepler Microflex, and this would be your other option for 5 attachments. And especially with the C9, the iron sights are really easy to use in my opinion. I don't think the KSVs are. I think the compacts are pretty easy to use, and I think these ones are pretty easy to use, and so are the PPSH. So if you want to remove attachments from those, I would remove the optic probably and get the movement get the movement bonuses. But I like to run 8 attachment loadouts, and just hit the loadouts twice. Or I have the Renetti here. The Renetti's hasn't been touched in a while. It's a little shaky, but it's good. And so I like to run 8 attachments and hit 2 loadouts or go by or whatever. And so that's your 8 attachment loadout. There for the PPSH though, the big difference in the PPSH is if I was going 5 attachments, I would probably remove Fast Mag and just leave the default mag on there, and I would remove the fire mods. You still get, it's not 50, it's 50 is the fast mag. I don't know why it didn't. You get 64 rounds. You still have an optic. You still have your stock. So the PP is the exception here where I would change if I was going to go 5 attachments. But those are your loadouts. Once again, we have in order the PPSH, the PP919, the compact, the KSV, and then the C9. Those are your loadouts. If you were just here for loadouts, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment down below your thoughts on my loadouts and my rankings. For the rest of us, we're just going to go jump over to True Game Data really quick and just look at a little bit of stats. So here we are on True Game Data. We're using combination for the bullet locations like we always do, just using default values. And you can see here where the compact has the best TTK, which is part of the reason why it's higher on the list. And the PPSH also has its problems. The PPSH has better range, but the compact does have the best TTK of all the SMGs. It's just the fast fire rate's a little bit difficult and you run out of ammo. So that's why it's not higher on the list. You can see our C9 is the 3rd best TTK, which helps it over the PP and the KSV. And so it's got the 2nd best TTK. It doesn't have a crazy fast fire rate. Its recoil is not bad. Its iron sights are good. And so that's a lot of the reason why it's number 1. And then you look at the KSV, which was number 2, and it's got a bad TTK, but it's got the best range, 16 meters before it drops off, which makes it a good sniper support. And it's just really easy to use. And so that's why it's number 2, but you could easily knock it down. You could switch it arguably with the not the PPSH, the PP919. You could knock it down to 5 if you're comfortable with the fast fire rates. But with the fast fire rates, it is trouble in trios and quads, which most, or at least close to most people play. I know that's what me and my squad prefer to play as trios and quads. And so the fast fire rate does matter. The ease of use, the big mags, the having the ammo last, the damage per mag does matter. And then just looking at some other stuff, ADS time, the C9 is the second best to the PPSH, which has its problems. The bullet velocity on the C9 is the best. The fire rate on the C9 is a good middle ground. It's not super slow like the PP919, which can be unforgiving. But it's not super fast like the compact or the PPSH, which can make the guns feel not so great and run out of ammo really fast. Move speed, it's third. You have the KSV and the PPSH, which is another reason why the KSV is a little higher, is the movement speed's good. The reload time on the C9 is slow. You can switch to that 40-round mag. The other reason the KSV is high is it has the quickest reload, so that's very helpful. The sprint speed is the highest for the KSV, tied with the PPSH, and then everything else is tied, so that's kind of negligible. And then the True Game Day doesn't have my attack sprint speeds, whatever. Sprint to fire too, the C9 is the second fastest, the PPSH. Like I said, if the PPSH didn't have so many problems with the muzzle flash, the awkward recoil, and the fast fire rate, it could be number one on this list. And so that's my rankings. Like I said, we got C9 number 1, KSV number 2, the compact number 3, the PP919 number 4, and the PPSH number 5. Small changes could literally just reorder this whole thing. A small change to the PPSH or the compact could move it to number 1. And a small change to the PP could take it out of the meta. The Jackal's gone, by the way, if you didn't notice, because they've just nerfed it into the ground. But those are my rankings. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you want to see me do anything live, Twitch is linked down below. If you want to check out my other socials, that's linked down below, as well as the long-range meta video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Urzikstan, Area 99, and Rebirth Island. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.